Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my first Commander deck tech here for this channel. Capital G here, and the gentlemen I'm going to show you here, my commander will be Shu Yun, the Silent Tempest, a surprisingly aggro blue creature that can be real sneaky about the way he gets his damage in. Let's have a look and have some fun. Alright, so here we are with Shu Yun, the Silent Tempest. He's a 3/2 for a blue and 2 mana with prowess, so whenever you cast a non-creature spell, he gets a +1/+1 bonus until end of turn. He also has this neat activated ability where you can pay 2 mana in any combination of red or white in order to give target creature a double strike. Now, in this deck, that creature that you're giving double strike will be Shu Yun himself. Of course, he's going to need some friends, so let's start with his supporting cast. There's going to be a lot of instants and sorceries in the deck, so here's a Gutter Snipe to lead things off, along with Talrand the Sky Summoner. Anytime you play an instant or sorcery, the Gutter Snipe will deal 2 damage to all your opponents, and Talrand will give you 2/2 Flying Drake. Archaeomancer will let you get back one of your instants and sorceries. And because there's a couple of lands out there Shu Yun is not a huge fan of, namely Maze of Ith, Ravenous Baboons is there to blow it up while giving you a blocker. Hypersonic Dragon will let you cast your sorceries at instant speed. He's also a 4/4 flying case, so a good beater in his own right as well. Sage Eye Avengers also has prowess. It's a 4/5 to start, and whenever he attacks, you get to return a creature defending player controls that has less power than the Sage Eye Avengers. So it's pretty fun to give him a boost too. Cunning Breeze Dancer's kind of got double prowess, in fact. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets a +2/+2 bonus, and that's on top of the fact he's already a 4/4 flyer. And lastly, Narset, the Enlightened Master. Now, she's a tier 1 commander in her own right, of course, but in this deck, she's there to help you get some non-creature spells played whenever you attack. Over to Mana Rocks, of course, the obligatory Soul Ring. Star Compass, which taps for any color mana that you have a land for. Burrow Signet. It's pay 1 to get a red and a white. This is the only Signet that I'm running. I'm not running the Izzet Signet, and I'm not running the Azoria Signet because I need the specific combination, the red-white combination, to activate Shu Yun. Traveler's Amulet. Pay 1, blow it up, go get a basic land that you might be missing. Jeskai Banner. Taps for all 3 of your colors, and you can sack it off later for a card. Prophetic Prism lets you fix your mana colors. Let's get that camera focused on that. Lets you fix your mana's colors while drawing you a card the second you play it. Now we're going to look at some cards that makes Shu Yun a little bit scarier. Grasp of the Hieromancer, because it gives him a +1/+1 boost. And whenever this creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. Take away a blocker. Volcanic Strength, +2/+2, and Mountain Walk. Red players beware. Pursuit of Flight, +2/+2, and you can pay a blue mana to give Shu Yun flying, because this is definitely meant for Shu Yun. Now, of course, Shu Yun's going to be a target, so Gift of Immortality will help keep him in play, and Indestructibility will help keep him in play. Quiet Contemplation just makes your spells a little bit better. You can pay an extra mana anytime you do your non-creature spell thing to tap down a creature for this turn and the following turn. Angelic Benediction, it does pretty much the same thing as the Grasp of the Hieromancer. But you don't actually enchant Shu Yun with it. It just sits off to the side. So if Shu Yun is ever destroyed, you still get to keep this and use this. And Ristic Study, a very popular EDH commander card. This is the only copy that I have, and this is the only deck I play it in. Some equipment to help us out as well, of course. Bone Splitter, +2/+0 on a creature that's going to have double strike. Seems good to me. Champion's Helm, +2/+2. And because we're usually equipping this to Shu Yun, Hexproof. It only equips for 1 mana, which is pretty neat. The Leering Emblem. Whenever you play a spell, equipped creature gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. And that's any spell, so even if you're playing a creature, if this is equipped to Shu Yun, you give him a boost. And lastly, the Chariot of Victory. Equipped creature has First Strike, Trample, and Haste for 1 mana. Some utility artifacts, of course. Mishra's Bauble, one of those non-creature spells that literally doesn't cost anything, and you can set Shu Yun in motion with it. You can also tap this and sacrifice it to draw a card. Pithing Needle shuts down your opponent's activated abilities on any of their creatures or planeswalkers, or any other permanent for that matter. Just name it, and if they have an ability that doesn't generate mana, they cannot use it. Tapestry of the Ages. You play your non-creature spell, you pay 2 mana and draw a card off this thing. And Isochron's Scepter. This is a very high-risk, high-reward card. With this, you exile a instant that costs 2 or less, put it onto the Scepter. And if somebody blows up the Scepter, you lose access to that spell. But the longer the Scepter is in play, the more often you get to use it, because then you can pay 2 and tap the Scepter to cast that spell. Emphasis on the word cast. Shu Yun's ability is a cast trigger, and Isochron Scepter casts whatever is imprinted on it. So let's look at some of those cheap instants. Starting with Rapid Hybridization. Turn one of your opponent's creatures into a 3/3. Shu Yun doesn't care, he's not afraid of no 3/3. Swords to Plowshares. Exiles a creature in exchange for life. Shu Yun doesn't care. He deals commander damage. Path to Exile. Exiles a creature from the game and gives them a land. Shu Yun doesn't care. Lands generally don't block. Reality Shift. Exiles a creature. They get a 2/2 off the top of their deck. Ride Down. You want to block Shu Yun? Go right ahead. I'll just blow it up and give Shu Yun trample. Disenchant. Because sometimes your opponents have some really annoying enchantments or enchantments or artifacts that need to go. Think Twice. You get to draw a card. If you imprint it, you get to draw a card as much as you want. If you don't imprint it, you can flash it back and draw a second card. Ephemeral Shields. Give Shu Yun indestructible, because he's going to be a target. Deflecting Palm. Someone takes a swing at you, swing it right back at them. Is a Charm. It can counter your opponent's non-creature spells, if they're out of mana, of course. It can deal 2 damage to any of their blockers if it's going to take them out, or it can help you draw through 2 more cards of your deck. Stubborn Denial. Forget the top half. It says counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1. Forget about that bit. As long as Shu Yun is in play, the second you cast the Stubborn Denial, you'll have your Ferocious, which means counters that non-creature spell outright. Disdainful Stroke counters most sweepers. Most sweepers cost 4 or more, and Disdainful Stroke will take care of that problem. So that's it for spells we can imprint onto the Isochron Scepter. There's going to be a rule change with Amonkhet, so this is considered a converted mana cost of 3 from here on out. But it's still a useful card because it destroys target artifact if you play the red half, destroys an enchantment if you use the white half, and it has Fuse, so you can cast both sides of the card. Electrolyze to deal out a little bit of damage and draw a little bit of cards. Polymorphist Jest. Turns all of your opponent's creatures, one opponent's creatures, into 1/1 frogs. They're not so scary now, are they? Vanish into Memory. This one's a little more complex, but what it does is that it exiles a creature, you draw cards equal to the creature's power. And when that creature eventually comes back into play, you discard cards equal to its toughness. You can use this to keep Shu Yun on the battlefield a little longer if you must use Vanish into Memory onto him. You're drawing at least 4 cards, sometimes more, and you're discarding no more than 2. Savage Beating, because extra attack steps are awesome. Sorcery Time, Artful Dodge. Target creature, aka target Shu Yun, is unblockable this turn, and it has flashback. Slip Through Space, target Shu Yun becomes unblockable, and you get to draw a card. Preordain, scry 2, then draw a card. Vandal Blast, destroy an artifact you don't control for 1, or destroy all the artifacts you don't control for 5. Museum Orders, deal 4 damage to 1 creature for 2 mana, deal 4 damage to all the creatures that you don't control for 6 mana. Clears out a lot of tokens and chump blockers. Taigam Strike gives target Shu Yun +2/0 and it cannot be blocked. And it has Rebound. It costs itself automatically for free on the following turn. So that's 2 unblockable swings for Shu Yun. Seize the Day. Untap target Shu Yun. After this phase, there's an additional combat. Costs 4 when you initially cast it, and you can flash it back for 3. Useful stuff. Sleep. Choose an opponent, tap all their creatures. They don't untap during the next untap step. Opens the door for Shu Yun. Fish Event. Destroy target artifact and or destroy target non-basic land. Again, we don't like Maze of If, so Fish Event will take care of that problem for us. Thoughtcast. Draw 2 cards. I've got enough artifacts that it's not going to cost me 5. It'll cost me maybe 2 or 3 mana tops. Spelltwine. Exile an instant or sorcery from my graveyard and an opponent's graveyard. And copy those cards. Cast them if able without paying their mana costs. So, because they cast those spells, that's 3 prowess triggers for Shu Yun. Temporal Mastery, because the chance of taking an extra turn for 2 mana is just too tempting. And Treasure Cruise. Draw 3 cards. It costs 8 mana, but I'll have a full enough graveyard by the time I use this that it'll only cost me 1, maybe 2 mana to cast it. Draw 3 cards. And that's it for the cards. Have a quick look at the mana base. I'm running around 36 or 37 lands. I forget the exact count. It is a smaller curve, so I don't need too many. I do have 6 mountains, 6 plains, 6 islands. Command Tower, of course. Mystic Monastery for all my colors. Same with Rapture Spire. We also have a bunch of lands that tap for red or white. We've got Windscarred Crag, Battlefield Forge. We have Izzet Guildgate for red or blue, Shivan Reef, red or blue, Swiftwater Cliffs, red or blue, and then Azorius Guildgate. These are blue and white lands. Azorius Guildgate, Sigeri Refuge, Tranquil Cove, Boros Guildgate, another land that taps for red and white, and the Boros Garrison. Much like the Boros Signet, this is the only Ravnica Karoo land that I'm playing, for the reason of getting both red and white for Shu Yun. I also have a Minamo, School at Water's Edge. Untap target legendary permanent for 1 blue. What's nice about this land, it doesn't come in tapped, so it's just as useful as an island. Slayer's Stronghold, red-white tap. Give Shu Yun or any other creature +2/0 and vigilance and haste until end of turn. It's a good late game land actually. Cathedral of War, you drop this down turn 1 and you're in heaven with that one. It has Exalted, so whenever your Shu Yun attacks alone, he gets a +1/+1 bonus just for you having this out there. Terminal Moraine, it's 2 taps, sack for a basic land that comes in tapped, but it also taps for a colorless, so that makes it useful in its own way. And Terramorphic Expanse. So that's it for the Shu Yun deck. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you think of the deck in the video. Comments are below, of course. See you next time.